Good morning, everybody. BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right. As you can see, I'm not very pleased with the LA Lakers, man. The good news just keeps rolling in. So now Jackson Hayes is out for 2 to 3 weeks with the same ankle injury. I don't know what's going on with guys re-injuring the same injury, but this is becoming a thing. But Jackson Hayes is a player that is pretty good on the offensive end, pretty decent on the boards, but he's too damn big to be so poor at rim protection. I actually like Koloko better for our unit in most situations since Koloko has arrived. So I didn't even mention it last night, but Koloko didn't get a single minute in that game last night so that we can match up small with the OKC Thunder, which is just like backwards. But yeah, that's what we did, and we didn't even score 100 points doing it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander outscored both Bron and AD combined. That's how bad that was. So yeah, man, we're officially eliminated from the OKC, from the NBA Cup, rather. OKC eliminated us from that. And at this point, we just move forward and understand that our team can kind of have some fill-in games throughout the course of that stretch where it looks like we're going to be without 10 games on the schedule. From what I understand, they're going to fill in some games with consolation plays. Teams, 2 consolation games will be scheduled, so we won't be off for that long while the championship run is being had in the cup. So that's the good thing for our team. Because I didn't want us to be off that long. We don't need 2 all-star breaks in one season, in my opinion. But with all the injury issues that we have, maybe it makes sense to want some time off. Bron, I don't know what's going on with you, man. LeBron James turnovers have been utterly atrocious all month long. I mean, it's been ridiculous. He's averaging over 5 of them a game since the beginning of November. And the turnovers that he's having, it's not like people are just running by stealing the ball from him. A lot of them are turnovers on jumping passes or misreads or throwing the ball out of bounds, traveling. I'm so sick of LeBron's turnovers, man. And I think everybody is at this point. I don't know what it is that's going to get him to clear that up or clean that up. But at this point in time, it's become a real problem for our basketball team because obviously we want him to have the ball in his hands. But if he's going to continue to give the ball to the other team, then of course we need to take the ball out of his hands just like we would anybody else. And although we believe in living and dying with LeBron James, at the end of the day, with the season that we're having right now, we can't afford to die at all. You understand what I'm saying? And for him and LeBron and Anthony Davis to both kind of go into what I consider to be an offensive slump at the same time is really catering to why we're losing so many basketball games in this little flurry that we've been losing them. So, you know, it's been rather disappointing. I mean, we got a lot of expletives and different ways to describe the frustration, but the team is not playing well. And while we had a good game against the Spurs, we don't want to forget that. At the end of the day, we've lost 4 out of our last 5 games. And they've been against really good teams. And when we were on that 6-game winning streak, I told people that there was a chance we could lose some games because the schedule was just going to get tougher, and how were we going to handle that strengthening of the schedule. And here we are, fast forward to where we are today, and we realized we didn't handle it very well at all. And everybody who was skeptical of our 6-game winning streak because we were playing depleted teams was valid, because we didn't do nothing as soon as that schedule put some good teams on it. So, you know, the Lakers got to figure themselves out, man. We can't keep on this pace expecting that we can only beat bad teams and actually make some noise in the playoffs. No. And the sad thing is that we got a healthy Bron, healthy AD, healthy Austin, although he hurt himself a little bit last night. Expected to play, healthy Dalton. Like, we're missing some pieces, but they ain't the main ones. What if one of those guys go down? We win any of these games? And that's really comes down to. I just think the Los Angeles Lakers need to be honest with themselves and say, you know, the injuries aren't really the problem, because the main people that we need to have on the floor are there. And, you know, that's why a game like last night, although OKC is better than us, I don't know if they're better than us if this was their permanent situation, as it pertains to no AC, no Chet Holmgren, no Usman Dang, no Jay Will. Like, if all of those people are out and that's just the only thing that OKC has, are they better than the Lakers this year? I don't think so. I don't. What OK ends up being in that frame of itself is a small basketball team that's probably going to have a hard time rebounding on most nights. So long as teams don't dumb it down and make themselves as tiny as them on damn purpose, like we did last night. Giving up 17 rebounds to Isaiah Hartenstein, 15 offensive rebounds to the team as a total. Just so many second chance opportunities, third chance opportunities. I mean, it got a little comical last night on the boards. It really did. And I like that Dalton's finally getting into the groove. They're starting to feature him the way they're supposed to. I think that can offset some of the other stuff that's gone wrong. If D'Lo is going to finally start, playing better, which he has been over these last 2 games, if we could step into a good stretch with him, that would be really helpful. But some of the other problems are real problems. And I think there's a direct correlation between the good game that we had against the San Antonio Spurs and Gabe Vincent only getting 6 minutes. And there's a correlation with Gabe Vincent going back to 15, 16 minutes in the last game and ultimately us struggling. I think there's a direct correlation. You just cannot have a non-threatening basketball player on the floor. Not when you have a bad game facing good defensive players. You need to have some offensive threats on the floor. And for us to have given him 16 minutes and do nothing, Cam Reddish mimicking him the same way, and then Austin out there just jacking up shots and bricking all of them, I just don't think that you gave yourself a real chance to win, especially when the scheme is to get small. So, JJ Redick, he's gotten a lot of flack from me, and as I listen to people reacting to this game, they're on his case as well, so I know I'm not alone. I just thought he coached his worst game last night. I really did. There was too many things wrong there. Max Christie gave an explanation for his intentional foul. He essentially thought he heard JJ say something he didn't hear, and in the moment just did what he thought JJ was telling him to do when JJ was actually screaming out something different. That lack of communication is pretty tough. But he also took accountability, saying he knew they were already in the penalty. He just had basically a brain fart, which is, hey man, it's accountability, young player, frantic moment, loud arena. I guess you can call it as just a necessary thing to learn from, but some mistakes you can't make once. You know what I mean? When the cup is on the line and stuff like that, you got to have your thinking cap on. I'm sure this situation will have traumatized him into being more mindful of these circumstances, so I don't expect this is going to be a reoccurring thing for Max Christie. I don't peg him as a player who is just not very mindful or absent-minded or anything like that. So I'm pretty certain that this is the type of experience that will help him be more intentional on making sure he knows what the coach is saying, not waiting for the coach to do the thinking for him, but more or less, having certain things in your head already. Just in case the coach is mistaken and he's telling you the intentional foul when you don't have any, you can tell your coach, we don't have any. That kind of thing. You got to think for yourself. And I think that's what he learned last night. You can't rely on the coaches to always have it right, or you certainly can't rely on thinking you heard something in a situation where you only got one chance to get it right. So this is just a learning experience for Max Christie. Anytime Max Christie makes this type of mistake, I just look at the coaching staff and the organization. You let Darvin sit here for 2 seasons and wet the bed and not play this kid because he wanted to run his homeboy Torian Prince. And these are the type of mistakes that ultimately cost you when you finally do put Max on the floor. This is a byproduct of that. I know exactly what I'm looking at. Now, if we would have played Max Christie like we were supposed to over the last couple of years, we wouldn't be in this situation with him having mistakes like this made right now. He had already made those mistakes earlier. And people didn't want to develop him. And they're doing the same thing with Max Lewis. They're doing the same thing with Jalen Hood-Schifino. They're doing the same thing with Bronny James. These kids ain't going to be no better when you get them out there. They may be in better shape, but they ain't going to be no more ready for these moments than Max Christie is showing us right now. And I think that is why organizations all over the league need to start playing their young players. Because when you call on them, don't expect for them to understand what things they need to understand when experience provides that understanding. So, people didn't give them experience, they ain't going to have it. Y'all fault. That's who it is. You let Darvin sit here too long, and he did what he did, and as a result, our kid doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Period. So that's what that is. But anyway, man, I'm ready to move on from Gabe Vincent, man. If we could take a second round pick, take Gabe Vincent's contract and try to match it for like a expiring $20 million Lonzo Ball contract, I would do that in a heartbeat. I understand Lonzo can go down with an injury at any moment and make it so that we don't have enough bodies, but what's the difference? What's the honest difference? When you got Gabe Vincent running around for 16 minutes doing absolutely nothing, allegedly playing defense, I can trade that for a much better defensive player, a much better offensive player who may not be on the floor very much, who ultimately will give more minutes to Quincy Olivari in his absence, potentially. That's really what that is. If Gabe Vincent would just hurry up and get hurt, we can start bringing some people in that can really work. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but you know what I'm trying to say? If I replace him with Lonzo Ball, who's expiring, Lonzo at the very worst is going to create an opportunity for a better player than Gabe Vincent. That's for damn sure. And I ain't got to worry about Lonzo carrying over into the next season because he's expiring. So, yeah, if Lonzo is somebody that the Lakers would target as an expiring contract that could potentially be an upgrade from Gabe Vincent, I would support that with the highest amount of support at this point. The way I see it is Lonzo is going to expire, give me $20 million coming off the books. If we move D'Lo, I still want that $20 million expiring contract for us to help ourselves in free agency to build a better team than what we have right now. That's going to be very important. And get multi-year contracts of non-productive players off of our basketball club. Period. So, yeah. If we make any trade at all, I would expect it would be something like that. I really would. Because there are a lot of different things that people are rumoring. I don't think they're realistic. But taking Gabe Vincent and a couple second-round picks or a second-round pick, probably 2, and offering it to Chicago for Lonzo Ball, I think it makes a lot of sense right now, man. Just get that thing off of the books. So that's my attitude, man. I don't think there's any harm in that, especially since Lonzo is healthy. And a healthy Lonzo Ball is one of the best defensive players on the planet, and he's one of the best connective pieces on the planet. That's not even up for debate. So that's really what it comes down to. I immediately bring in a legitimate backup point guard, somebody who's going to be pushing D'Lo for minutes, somebody who's going to be pushing Austin for minutes. Because if I'm being completely honest with you, Lonzo's better than both of them when he's healthy. He's never healthy. So and for me, I don't think Lonzo can demand much in free agency next year. You might be able to get away with paying Lonzo $7 million a year. As to which, if he can just find a way to stay healthy, suddenly that's the best contract on the planet. And so, I don't. If Lonzo were on a multi-year contract right now, I would have no interest in it. But that he's expiring, and that he's back on the floor, starting to ramp up and look somewhat productive, that's enough of a risk for me to go after him if I'm the Lakers. He improves our perimeter defense dramatically, in a way that people think Gabe Vincent's supposed to, but will never, ever again. So, yeah, I wanted to put that out there, man. I've been giving that some thought. I don't know if their salaries match necessarily. Maybe you take Gabe Vincent and Jackson Hayes and second-round pick. I don't have no problem with that, man. Just take them contracts and get us an expiring one, please. That's where I'm at. I was listening to Trevor Lane say the Lakers shouldn't be making moves to create salary. I disagree. I just have a different philosophy. I think we need to start thinking about how we're going to build something much better than this next season. I'm not giving up on this season, but I'm going to be making moves that allow me the flexibility necessary to be able to build for next season. That's what I'm saying. And if I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, I think a guy like Lonzo Ball for Gabe Vincent does that exact thing. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone. And as I always say about second-round picks, you can buy those with cash. So I'm not interested in us losing second-rounders. It's first-rounders that you can't buy. Second-rounders, you can take $500,000, $1 million, and go get you one of those. So as many of those as we have to offer, we should be willing to use to create the flexibility necessary for ourselves in the future. and maybe even role players right now if it's possible. So yeah, that's my thing, man. Especially since we're tossing and throwing them completely into the void, drafting people like Bronny James, who I'm wondering if he even gonna play basketball anymore. I'm starting to wonder if Bronny James is not behind the scenes actually quitting the sport of basketball, and that's what's causing his father so many problems. What is distracting LeBron James? Well, if Bronny's telling him he don't want to play no more, that could definitely be a part of the problem. And it's given the fact that nobody's even talking about Bronny, he's been shoved into, he's probably somewhere in an island somewhere. I'm not interested in us valuing second round picks so much that we don't use them for flexibility when this is what we're doing with those picks. I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm a bit frustrated with a lot of stuff, but nothing more than the fact that we just suck against good teams, and it's not something that we can't do something about. It's not something we can't do something about. And so that's where my attitude is, man. This Bronny James situation, I think, is probably what's the problem with Bron. I think that. I definitely think that. And, you know, I mean, it is what it is, man. Bron came into this world having a gift for the game of basketball. A gift that very few people on this earth have. So his experience in this league as a young person was obviously a good one. But his son is not having that experience, but he has the same magnifying glass on him. So his experience in this league is not starting off well. People aren't giving him an opportunity. He's in the G League, but he can't play road games for certain reasons. He ain't hit a three-point shot, but he keeps on hovering around the three-point line, waiting for respect that ain't coming. It's just not a good experience for the young man, and he's not getting a chance to develop properly. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if he's tired of this sport already. I don't even think it's his first passion. I really don't. So, you know, far be it for me to say I have any inside information or something like that, but this is just me reading tea leaves. I'm looking at how this is going. And I just wouldn't be surprised if he's done with ball. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And we gave him a 4-year contract, and I don't know how you handle stuff like that. Maybe he just needs a break. Maybe just none of this at all. But the tea leaves are showing me there's something else going on behind the scenes as it pertains to Bronny and Bron. And Bron's playing poorly and turning the ball over in inexplicable ways. And I think his son is nowhere to be found. As it pertains to, you know, the injury, nobody even saw the injury happen. It's some type of heel contusion. He's not with the G League team. He's not with our team. Where the hell is he? You know what I mean? So, no. I think the Lakers should have left him on the waiver wire and picked him up as a free agent, and we could have had the same result. There was no reason to draft him. That was pure ego. You could have taken that second-round pick, attached it to Gabe Vincent, taken another 2 or 3 second-round picks, and got us the flexibility we needed, and our team would be better. It was never any reason to do nothing like that. Nobody was going to take him with the final 2 picks. The Indiana Pacers weren't going to take him, and the Phoenix Suns were definitely not going to take him either. We could have left him out there, and we could have picked him up as a free agent, undrafted, and gave him the same damn contract you want to give him right here. You know what I mean? People just doing stuff to sabotage our roster, and it's the team that suffers itself. The product on the floor is what hurts. And then people look around saying, make a trade. We throwing second-round picks at people that ain't even going to play. You know, we taking opportunities away from people like Quincy Olivari, who might be our 5th best player on this whole damn team. You got him down there in the G League, farting around down there. For reasons that only make sense for politics. If you don't want him to outshine Bronny or something like that, you're going to leave him down there. You know, you don't want to admit that you probably should have drafted him over Bronny. You leave him down there. That type of stuff, man, you know. And you look around at the team struggling like we are. It's like, you get to a point where you become very irritated. If the result was success, then yeah, we can look the other way on all of this nonsense. But that we're losing 4 out of 5 basketball games, dropping games that we know damn well we should be winning, doing some of the same stuff that we did these last 2 years with Darvin, with JJ, scheming minutes mentality. Let's not play Quincy. Let's definitely play Gabe, and let's lose with that process, because it's what we want to represent ourselves in doing. It's like, man, if you represent yourself in ways that's going to help us lose, believe me, we're just going to continue to have the same conversations that we did in the past. You doing that stuff with Tory and Prince. You know what I mean? Doing stuff for the wrong reasons. And quite honestly, as a Laker fan, I'm about over our organization being run this way, to be honest with you. It's not cute to me. Politics that lead to us being a worse basketball team on purpose, I'm offended by that. I really am. So I kind of want people to get the hell out of here, to be honest with you. Everybody that thinks that our organization should be run this way, I think it's about time for you to get the hell out of here. I really think that. That's where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? The best players need to be on the floor. Whoever that is. If it's his son, then put him on the floor. If it's Quincy, put Quincy on the floor. If D'Lo's hot, give him the ball. If Austin's hot, give him the ball. Like, I literally don't have any problem with my worst guy playing his best game and us feeding him because he's the hot hand. It's the only way to play. You feed the hot hand. D'Lo didn't close last night. He was hot. You go with the cold hand, Austin, right? Like, I don't understand what motivates people. It obviously isn't winning. You know what I'm saying? It obviously isn't winning. And organizations all over the league are doing this type of stuff. Well, we signed him, so play him. Well, he sucks. I know, but we gave him money. We have to justify it. The justification is found in the wins, not in the process of playing certain people, win or lose. There is no lose on purpose. You lose if you throw your best stuff at the other team and the other team beats you. If you're throwing some of your worst stuff at the other team because you signed it and you have to justify it because obviously you made a decision and your decision making is what you're judged upon. So if you don't use what you've signed and ultimately you're expendable as someone who makes poor decisions, that type of structure, it's a different game. That's not basketball. That's front office magic. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm here to see. That's not what the fans are paying for. For GMs covering their backsides and owners covering their backsides and saving money and all different types of stuff. That's not what we're here for. You don't want to pay for the best stuff because you want to do this. You want to sign off on a collective bargaining agreement that makes it so that you can't undo trades so that you can save $1. Save $1? You're taking our dollars with this garbage. You need to save the money for it. That's what we're investing in. We're investing in you giving us the best product, and you're investing in yourself, saving our money. You're taking money from the fans. That sounds like a damn a scheme to me. That's a con. You know what I mean? And you got these talking heads telling everybody that trade needs to be made. Trade needs to be made. These idiots make sure they can't make trades so they can save the money that you're giving them and give you a lesser product. And then they're not doing their homework, and they're not paying people to do their homework, and they're giving the pay to people that they shouldn't be paying to do the job they can't do. Running around being awful while good players are in the G League itching for opportunities. Because the GM doesn't want to admit that he ain't been doing his homework on who can actually perform. And he's in the past, he still think this guy could play when he can't play no more, but it's too late because he already signed him. So everything has to be hard just so he can look like he knows what he's doing when and the result proves to you that he doesn't. You're seeing this crap all over the league, man. It's ridiculous. And I tell these owners, what are you paying these professional basketball front office people for? You make it impossible for them to do their job by voting this collective bargaining agreement dollar-saving scheme into your equation. And then you put all the pressure on these guys to live up to expectations that can't be met. You made it so that you can't make trades. What are you paying these people for? You lock their hands, you put their hands behind their back. You bring a GM to build your team, and then you create a collective bargaining agreement system that doesn't allow for them to do their job. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we doing? What are you asking me to pay for as a basketball fan? What are you asking me to pay for? Really? The superstar? What about the rest of the team around him? We're not even winning. You're giving the superstar opportunity to bring his family into the game. So you can keep the leverage of having him on your team versus the other 30 teams. You let his brother come on the team. You let his son come on the team. Father-in-law, brother-in-law. Like, what the hell are y'all doing, man? And then we're watching these people play basketball. They can't play. You might as well suit up the refs. See if they can hit a shot. Suit up the GM. See if he can hit a shot. This is equivalent to what you're doing when you bring novice players in because they're related to the guy who's the star. And you bringing in worse players because you don't want them to outshine the star's guy. So you bring in a guy like Gabe Vincent because damn it if Quincy Olivari outshines the star's son. Got Dalton Connect out here hitting damn near all his shots, but we ain't feeding him. Because damn it if he outshines the star himself. Like, man, if you don't get this crap together, NBA, you're going to continue to lose viewership, friends. I'm telling you the truth. I've been talking directly to y'all for years now. You know me. A lot of y'all know me. I'm telling you, even our most diehard fans are getting tired of this crap. You got to get back to the basics, man. If you're going to take our dollars, give us the best product, man. And if you're not going to hire sickos who are serious about studying real-time production and putting all of it together in a cohesive fashion so that you can have good teams and making it so that it's possible to do so through the flexibility that you allow within your CBA, we're not going to pay for any of it. We're not going to watch. You can split the All-Star game up into 17 teams for all we give a damn. We're not going to watch. This is where this is headed. You understand what I'm saying? The gimmicks, the NBA cups, the this and that. We don't care about none of that. We just want to see good ball. You don't have to split up into groups, into disintegrating, West versus East. We don't care about none of that. If the teams are any damn good, you wouldn't need to do any of that. Why aren't the teams any good? Because of the problems I just described. It ain't because of anything else. Y'all trying to go to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P when it's a straight line to what it is you want. The Eastern Conference sucks because they have so many teams back there that have been doing things wrong for a long time. That's why it sucks. You don't need to realign West and East. You need to make sure those teams stop sucking. Seriously. And it ain't as hard as you think. Like, you don't have to do all of the other stuff. Y'all putting a lot of mind and investment power into fixing around the fact that the Eastern Conference sucks, instead of making it so that the Eastern Conference doesn't freaking suck. And I promise you, when you fix that, all these different things we've been talking about, alignment of teams is not as much of an issue as you think. It's not. All-star formatting ain't gonna make us care. When we go back to our respective teams and half of them are structured horribly. Good G League talent sitting on the bench. You playing old guys. Guys getting hurt every 5 minutes, replacing them with old guys. Rushing them back so that they can hurry up and drag trash to the playoffs. And they keep on getting re-injured because they've been dragging trash because you let that stupid GM continue to bring them trash. Like, these things, they are why all of this is not right. They're why your NBA sucks so bad. It's in the details of how teams are structured, who you're allowing to put together these teams, and how difficult it is for them to do so. Getting locked into contracts that are no good. Teams being afraid to build through the draft and allowing 2 and 3 teams taking on 6 and 7 teams draft equity and piling it all together like OKC and Utah's doing, like Houston's doing. Your teams suck because all of your talent in 3 places. All of the young guys are all going to be playing together. Some of them dwindling in value because of it. Can't even get on the damn floor and they're good players because they're stuck on teams with even better players since draft. Guys like Terry Eason, how much good could Terry Eason do if he was on the Bucks? If he was on the Hornets? If he was on the Nets? Like, how much better would he be? You know, like Reed Shepard sitting on the back of the Rockets bench. He shouldn't even be there. He should be on one of these badass teams that y'all can't stand seeing in the Eastern Conference, being one of their best players. But no, you ain't got that going on. You got the Sixers running around with Kyle Lowry. This is what happens when you allow teams to mortgage their future. This is what happens when you lock up the market entirely. This is what happens when you bring in people that ain't doing their homework on who's productive and who's not. These are the problems you have. And you think shaking stuff around with alignment is going to make people not be disinterested in poor product. But I promise you, I don't care how many ways you shake it. It's still poor product. You make it too damn hard and too damn restrictive to build a decent basketball club. And you call yourself saving money. You're only losing money because it's this way. The notion that it only takes 5 or 7 people to win a championship and the rest of the team can be scrubs is a lie. Because these guys get hurt, and in getting hurt, it requires that the talent behind them be decent. And if you never play that talent, and if they're not any good, then when they do become relied upon, down goes the standings. Your team goes down. And these guys are playing too many games to not expect that these injuries are going to happen. So you see how that trickles down to so many different problems? And you got teams giving away first-round picks and second-round picks in these circumstances, making their team less and less likely to have the depth necessary to keep the superstars healthy. It just trickles down to just teams sucking, man. You want to move teams because the fans ain't showing up? The fans ain't showing up because the team's no good. They're not showing up because they're disinterested in the team. Half these small markets don't even have nothing else to watch but these teams. If anything, they will fill those arenas up. Look at OKC and how much they fill up their arena. Why? Because the team is structured in a way that's run properly. They value picks. They draft players. They stack them on top of each other in a cohesive way. And at the top of the Western Conference. Look at the Rockets. Top of the Western Conference. The teams that do that are winning. That's what I keep telling people. The Boston Celtics did the same thing. Took all the Brooklyn Nets garbage. You know what I'm saying? Or rather, vice versa. Gave them all the Brooklyn Nets. Gave the Brooklyn Nets their garbage and built a team through the draft. They got a championship last year. That's how they did it. Both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were supposed to be Nets. That's their picks. Stupid Nets gave them washed up old guys in exchange for future draft picks that they turned into an NBA championship. Everything at the top did it that way. Everything at the top did it through the draft. All the good teams in today's league have done it through the draft. And you know who's going to be good tomorrow? The teams that are doing it today. Utah is going to be OKC tomorrow. They did it the right way. Teams like the teams like the Clippers. Teams like who else did that stupid crap? There's another team that came to mind. Suns. They're gonna suck very soon. Just wait on it. They're gonna suck soon because they gave away all their picks because they don't value things that properly align them with the type of depth necessary. The Clippers have depth, but they don't have no stars, and they ain't getting them either. And so these are the type of things that's like, look, man, you wonder why your team suck, man. As soon as you do this alignment, if you're not listening to what it is I just described to you, you're going to find out that you're going to shake the teams up, and you're going to find that it's going to shift to where some of the stuff that you thought was going to be good is going to actually suck. And some of the stuff that you're probably doing work on in regards to seeing who's good and who's not, it's not going to end that way. Because a lot of these teams have done things that have just drawn away all of their future. Minnesota, for example. Assuming Minnesota's going to be any good 3 years from now is stupid. Because they've mortgaged everything. It's all in Utah. All of their future, all the good players are supposed to be on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are now in Utah. OKC, Utah, Houston. Those are the teams. That's where all the great talent is headed. You got your favorite player, he's likely going to be drafted in one of those 3 teams. In the draft over the next 3 years, your favorite young guy, somebody in high school right now, he's going to the Jazz, he's going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's probably going to Houston Rockets. Like, these are the type of, you just got to know that's coming. That's where all the picks are. instead of on these teams that really need them. You know, disintegrating conferences is not going to save you from that problem. You're still going to have half your league suck. Just going to suck. Unless you find a way to get these picks out of these hoarding pick teams' hands and back into these places that have depraved themselves and find that parity once again, you have a bunch of teams that aren't going to... It's going to be like 3 really, really good teams, and the rest of the teams are going to be struggling. Especially if you keep this collective bargaining agreement that makes it so they can't make trades. You're going to suck for a long time. It's just like, it's not even just foreseeable. It's already lined up that way. It's already lined up that way. A couple of teams may get lucky and find some gems in the second round or some gems in the back of the first round. That will be your hope. That a Brooklyn Nets with a 22nd pick can find the next Steve Nash or something like that. You hope. But it's not set up that way. It's set up for all of your best talent being drafted as superstars, going to teams where they're ultimately going to have to play roles, and then getting rocked to sleep by the roles that they're put in. It just eats away with the overall value of the league entirely when you consider it. Picture a guy like Ace Bailey going to the Utah Jazz, and now he's like the 7th best player or something stupid like that. It eats away at the entire pot of what good actually is in the NBA if things line up the way they keep on lining up and these teams keep hoarding all the picks from everybody else who mortgages them. So what happens? Look at Davion Mitchell. He was a 7th overall pick, had upside, comparing it to the guy that has a similar name in Donovan Mitchell. He's a role player in Toronto. He never had a chance to be anything other than that because he was drafted as the 3rd best guard on a Sacramento team that had a bunch of guards. How was he ever going to become a star? How was he ever going to be able to show teams that he could lead anything? He was never in an opportunity to get, never in an opportunity to even showcase that. Got rocked to sleep as a role player, and he's stuck as a role player. This is what's going to happen to so much of your talent in the future because the only places these guys are going to end up are the same 3 places. You understand what I'm saying? Utah going to have all of them. It's like, yo, NBA, fix that. Fix that. Get those picks out of Danny Ainge's hands. Get those picks out of Stan Presti's hands and divvy them out to the teams that's really, really don't know that they need all of the young talent coming their way possible. That's what needs to happen. Because as long as those 3 teams, or those 4 teams, however many it is, continue to hoard all of the talent, they're going to draft all your best stuff, stack it next to each other, and dumb it down into role players. Turning superstars into role players, buddy. If you don't see that coming, allow me to be the one to let you know that's what's happening. It doesn't equate to them having souped up teams necessarily. It equates to underdeveloped talent. That's what it equates to. Guys like Terry Eason should be the top 3 player on a team. Instead, he's like a number 7, number 8 man. This is what's going to keep happening. So that's pretty much my rant, man. I could continue going on. I was going to make this a Laker video, but this is more about the entire league. The Lakers aren't even the worst case of this crap. But we do need to stop mortgaging our picks. You're going to give more picks to Danny Ainge so you can get his Walker Kessler, a mortgage pick that was mortgaged from the Timberwolves. Like, you see how this works? Timberwolves mortgage their pick. Utah gets it. Turns it into half of what it's supposed to be. Mortgages it off for twice for what it's supposed to be. Or trades it off for twice for what it is actually worth. And the team continues to mortgage picks to Utah. And Utah continues to get pick rich in the process. Utah drafts all these players, turns them all into damn role players. Maybe 1 or 2 of them is a star. The rest of them have to play behind people even if they're good enough to lead a team. This is what's happening. BDO 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.